everyone. It's Jamie from Lemon Rebellion. I'm here today to speak with Bevin Farrand. How's it going, Bevin?
I'm great. How are you?
Good, thank you. Very excited to connect with you. There's always the pre-conversation before the recorded interview. We're just having a great laugh and a good time with Bevin. We're both from Ohio, which is exciting.
Yeah, so
Ohio love. Well, good. So, Bevin, you told me before the story you're going to tell us about today is if it were a book, it would be called Take the Damn Trip, Connect with Those You Love, Do the Crazy Thing, and Change Your Life. And I know you said that chapter one begins with Take the Damn Trip. So, tell us about your story.
it does. So in 2019, on Mother's Day, my husband Mark surprised me with tickets to Bordeaux, France for my 40th birthday. And he gave me these 4 bottles of Bordeaux wine and he wrote the card in French and he didn't speak French. So I knew something was up. And so
Impressive.
he had planned this not even full weekend trip to France in November, and it was going to be like 39 hours on the ground. But he wanted to give us time to plan it. We had a young son. He was going to be 10 months when we were in France, and our daughter was 2.5. So I needed to pump and put enough breast milk in the freezer and coordinate everything. So then 2 weeks after that, I got laid off. And we were
Wow.
definitely a 2 income family. So immediately we were like, should we cancel this trip? Like, this is crazy. And we decided, for some reason, he had bought trip insurance, which he never did. So we decided we have time. Let's just wait and see. I decided at that time not to look for another job. I decided I was going to take all of the information that I had learned over more than 10 years in digital marketing and education and start my own business. Because it was the third time I'd been laid off in my life. And I was like, no more. And so I said, look, we're going to try this. And if I can make $5,000 by the end of July, then it's a good proof of concept, or the end of August.
Mhm.
So we worked toward this. I started my business, started taking on clients. We were getting ready for the trip. And even 2 days before, we were like, is this crazy? Should we just not go? And we decided to go. We went. We had an amazing time, just wandered the city, literally from wine shop to monument to brew pub to church, like just wandered the city, had a delicious food, fantastic wine, and really connected to each other who we were before we had kids, even before we got married, because we were really a good team. We were partners and we were on each other's side. And so we came home, and that was Thanksgiving week. So Mark had taken the week off of work and we did stuff around the house, got ready for Thanksgiving. We took our daughter to her first movie theater show. We had Thanksgiving, which was always our favorite holiday, with our family and friends. And then the day after Thanksgiving, Mark just didn't wake up. He passed away in the middle of the night. We had no idea. He had undiagnosed heart disease. One of his arteries was 95% blocked. The other was 50% blocked, but he weighed the same he did in high school. So there was like no indication whatsoever. And all of a sudden, my whole life was flipped upside down. So I'm now a solo parent of 2 children under the age of 3, running my own business as the sole financial provider. And for the first time in 8 or 9 years without my best friend and biggest cheerleader. And it obviously was like a complete devastating, like life shakeup. And about a month after that, I posted on Facebook and said, I mean, people knew that Mark had passed away. And I just said, I didn't really talk about my birthday this year. And I shared the story of the trip. And I said, I'm so glad that we chose to go on this adventure together and we were together. And whenever we're faced with a choice, just take the damn trip. And that really resonated with people. And I went on and bought the URL that night. I was like, this is something, but I didn't know what. And so about 9 or 10 months later, because it really resonated with people, a lot of people commented and were like, this is so powerful. Like, yes, we need to do that. And so about 9 or 10 months later, the restaurant where Mark and I met was closing down because of COVID. And I posted on Facebook, hey, does anybody know the owners? Because we were super cheesy and we would go to that same restaurant every year on our anniversary. We
Oh,
wore the same clothes, sat in the same terrible seats. The bartenders knew us. They're like, is this been a year again already?
oh.
And we took a selfie in front of the sign. So when I shared that, it blew up on social media, like got shared like 50 times. It got featured on NBC. There were over 1,000 people watching every Facebook Live I did about it. And so people wanted to contribute to this sign. And I said, you guys, it's not a charity. I'm not trying to make money off of this. So what I did is I sold t-shirts. I pre-sold these t-shirts and I built this Take the Damn Trip community. And the community designed and voted on the t-shirts. We raised, I think, $6,000 and we paid for the sign. And then whatever was left after we paid for the t-shirts, we donated to my friend's adoption fund who's been going through IVF. And so that was how this Take the Damn Trip community and movement really started. And it is dedicated to supporting people in doing that crazy thing that's in their heart, because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And so we shouldn't wait. So that's kind of the Take the Damn Trip message.
Wow. Well, one never knows what to say in these kind of stories. I'm so sorry about Mark's passing. I think it's incredible how you found meaning from it and created something from it. It doesn't just give you hope. It sounds like you're giving lots of people excitement and hope, and really what it reminds me of, and I would love to hear your thoughts on this, is going through COVID. I think all of us had to come face to face with, we don't know how long we have. This might take us. And this idea of take the damn trip, seize the moment, live life to its fullest. I imagine it really resonates for me. I imagine it really resonates for a lot of people.
Yeah, I think definitely COVID showed us a lot of things. And so I guess the most important part I sort of left out of that damn actually does mean something. It's not just because I'm a little sweary.
I love a little swearing, to be honest, but tell us what it means.
Well, so after that all happened, I had to think back, because this was, to be honest, like, it is the most traumatic thing I've been through, but it's not the only trauma I've been through. You know, I lost my dad to cancer when I was 24. I lost my home in a house fire. I've been through, both my kids are IVF babies. I've been very open about that. So I've been through several years of fertility treatments. And I had to think about, what is it that I do differently to allow myself to navigate these things with some grace and creativity. And so DAM became the framework that I teach now, which is these 4 mindsets that, when we apply them to anything, help us really bring to life these powerful dreams. Because I am a big believer that trauma does not have to stop us from being successful. It can. We can let it. We can say, like, this is too much, I need to stop and stop, but it doesn't have to. And so the 4 mindsets are decide and declare. So we have to decide what our top priority is and declare it and bring it to life. Attend your own party, which is staying present in the moment and the fact that our thoughts create our experience. Meaningful moments. So choosing meaning, choosing to connect, choosing things with significance. And now is the time, which is, we are not promised tomorrow. That's what the t-shirts say. They say, we're not promised tomorrow, #take the damn trip, because we never know what's going to happen. And so that has been like, if you see anything with the word damn in it, it's usually mine. Like, I have a grow the damn business in just 1 damn minute. And like, my newest trip, like my newest big, bold, crazy idea, and I used these same mindsets to come to this decision, was that when Mark passed away, we were about 60 days away from going through IVF again to have our 3rd child. And so when Mark passed, I felt like that dream was also stolen from me, and it was not fair. And so I decided in 2020 to move forward with IVF, and I'm now, I think, 34 weeks pregnant. I don't know, I'm doing a month and 2 days.
Oh my God, congrats.
So I'm going to have our 3rd child.
So this is have the damn baby.
Have the damn baby. That's right. So, and so many people were like, that's crazy. I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm under no illusions. I know it's crazy, but
It's
I
bold,
don't want,
bold and beautiful.
If I didn't do it, I knew it would be the thing when I woke up and I was 75 that I regretted, and I was not willing to live with that.
Yeah. Oh my God, Bevin, that's freaking awesome. I love that DAM stands for something.
It does. It really does. Like, I go on some religious podcasts. I'm like, it does mean something. Just so you know.
Do they let you say it when you say that?
Yeah, they do. I'm like, I can't not.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't change it to the darn, you know?
My mom asked me to, because my nieces wanted like t-shirts. She's like, could you change it to darn? And I was like, what, really meaningful moments? No.
Never, it's nothing. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
exactly.
And
So,
what about this next one? Grow the damn business.
oh, so that's a mastermind that I have for business owners who want to take their business from wherever it is to 5-figure months and beyond. So it is because a lot of times that's the dream people have, right? Is to start their own business. And so it is still applying those same principles and growing a business. Because what I saw, especially in 2020, was again, I was now a solo parent, right?
Yeah.
And I decided my top priorities were my children, my own health, and keeping our home, because Mark and I built this house. And so I had to run my business in order to do those things. And so I used the same framework and built my business to a multiple 6-figure business in under 15 months, even during COVID, even while grieving the loss of my husband, but especially while being the mom I want to be to my kids. So that meant I put my kids to bed 95% of the time. I leave my desk every day at 3 to go pick my daughter up from preschool because she loves it. I wake up with my kids. So it's like, I don't work 80 hours a week to do that, but I'm really clear on what I want to create and how I want to do it. And that allows me to be more effective.
Yeah, it's amazing. What shifted within you about the way you saw the life you wanted to create once you realize I'm a single mom, I have to do these things? It would have been so easy to fall into self-pity or, why me and how and oh no, and the pandemic. What was it within you and the thoughts you had and the feelings you had and the beliefs you had about yourself and that new reality that allowed you to choose to create something fucking awesome from it? And when I say fucking awesome, those letters don't mean anything.
They don't mean anything.
Awesome.
Oh, that's such a good question. So I think honestly that because I'd been through other traumas and because I've been a coach and a certified coach and trained in this, there was part of me that I guess relied on that training. But because I remember when my house burned down, and that was in 2010. And after that happened, I went back to the building like 2 days after the fire, and the contractor was standing outside, and I said, I just have to run upstairs and grab something. I'll be right back. And I came out and he was like, do you live here? And I was like, well, I used to. No one does now. But he was like, how are you like still standing with a sense of humor? And I said, well, we can't choose what happens to us. We can only choose how we respond to it. And that I saw that so clearly in that situation because 6 people lost their homes. Wow. And 5 of them stayed very angry. Well, 4.5. 4.5 of them stayed very angry and bitter. And it took 3 years to rebuild that building. As soon as we had occupancy, Mark and I put it on the market. We sold it. We got an offer like 5 days later, sold it 3 weeks, closed on Valentine's Day. We called it Freedom Friday. We were like, nice, done. They stayed stuck. And so that showed me so much of how we cause so much of our own suffering by fighting reality. Yeah. And like, I'm not a Susie Sunshine girl. I don't think everything happens for a reason, at least not a good one. No one's going to convince me that Mark died for a reason that I'm going to be okay with. And so I don't mean it like that. I don't think, oh, we have to find the silver lining. But I needed to be there for my children. Mm-hmm. And sure, I could have curled up on the closet floor. And there are days that I do still that I just like start crying.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to stay there.
Yeah.
And I don't think Mark would have wanted me to stay there. Yeah. There was nothing about our relationship where he would have been happy seeing me suffer.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just really became, it's still that like staying present in the moment, because like when I said, when I told people I was going to get pregnant and they were like, that's totally crazy. What if something happens to you? And I said, well, unless I literally die in childbirth, me having this child is not going to change whatever is going to happen to me. And I cannot live my life in fear that I might die at any day.
Right. Absolutely.
And it's not like this decision is in any way related to the fact of whether I could bring Mark back or not. It's not like, oh, I can either have this baby or get my husband back. My husband can't come back. And even though I so wish he could. It was just Father's Day a few days ago, and my daughter's 4 and she didn't understand what it was. And then we wished my stepdad a happy Father's Day. And she said, Mom, what does that mean? And I explained, and she just started crying. She's like, well, can they bring Daddy back now? And I was like, I wish they could more than anything else, but they can't.
Yeah.
So this is my way of having another piece of Mark and fulfilling a dream we had been working towards.
Yeah, that's awesome. There's so much power and beauty in the story, and it's so authentic. You're right. I also really don't like when people say everything happens for a reason, because I feel like there's something just inauthentic about seeing the pain and recognizing it. No one wants these things to happen.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the idea, though, that when they do happen, because life inevitably is going to throw shit. And again, that one also doesn't stand.
Does not mean anything.
That's just the word shit.
I can make it mean something if you want.
I don't know. I'm not quick enough to probably pull up the words, but we do have that choice of how to react, how we can react from it.
Well, and I like to draw a distinction between reaction and responding, because react is emotional. It is like, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, and it is very much emotional. And that's not a bad thing. And it's not something we can avoid, right? Like, we have emotions, but when we respond, it usually means we're more grounded in the moment and we can see things a bit more clearly. It might be the exact same response, but it'll feel different. Right. And so that's one of the things with the attend your own party, and getting really grounded in the moment and what's happening allows us, because I think too, when we react, sometimes we judge our emotions.
Yeah.
Like, one of the things I've taught my daughter over the past year and a half, because my son is 2, he doesn't really quite get it. But my daughter knew her dad. And one of the things we talk about is it's okay to be sad. Like, there are no bad emotions. And so it's okay to be sad, but it's also okay to be happy. And that was something when my dad passed away. I remember my sisters and I were sitting around and we were laughing. I was like, oh my God, how are we laughing when Dad died? And I said, well, we are capable of holding more than one emotion at a time. And so it's okay to be sad and have our response and reactions. And it's okay to be happy and not stay stuck. And all of those things can happen at the same time.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. I was going to ask you for your key insight to wind up, but that may very well be it.
And because I know what is, the core message of your interviews is overcoming trauma, right? Yeah. One of the things I've said recently, and it really feels so right for me, is that we never know what's going to happen, right? To us, to our loved ones, we never know at any moment. And that's not a reason to live scared, but it is a reason to live fully.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome. Bevin, this has been an incredible interview. I'm super emotional.
I get that way. There are definitely times that I tell it and I'm like, okay, today it's harder to say, but no, I really appreciate you giving me the opportunity to share this, because I do think not everybody's lost their husband. We've all been through trauma, whether that's a bad breakup or losing your job or divorce or financial upsettedness. And it's really powerful for people to see that doesn't have to stop us in our tracks.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you just radiate joy and peace and life and abundance. And I know it inspires me, and I'm sure anyone who's listened or watched this interview will be inspired by that, because we can bounce back, we can move forward, we can do hard things. So thank you for being here. Tell us one more time, take the damn trip. What does DAM stand for?
It stands for decide and declare, attend your own party, meaningful moments, and now is the time.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, Bevin. Thanks for sharing your story with us today. We appreciate it. We'll talk again soon.
Thanks, Jamie.